welcome back to Mornings Don't Have to Suck, your go-to AM motivation and mindset podcast to start your day without the dread. In the short time we have together, you might just learn something new about yourself and how to approach your day from a new and clever perspective. I am your host, Kaylin, founder of Live Your Clever Life Coaching, and we will go ahead and get started right away today, as we usually do. I hope your morning is off to a great start. If you happen to wake up a little tired or on the wrong side of the bed, just remember to give yourself grace. Maybe today will help you reframe that or focus elsewhere so that the bad day just kind of rolls off your back and doesn't follow you around. So we'll see how it goes. So today we are going to talk about something that's often in today's society, I should say, often eye rolled at or looked at like, oh, okay, great, here we go again. But I want to talk about finding yourself, And basically, if you're having trouble finding yourself, maybe assess where you're looking. And I say that very specifically because when we look outside of ourselves, for ourselves, we're going to be looking for quite some time. So we're going to talk about that in a couple different ways today. But first, we are going to approach it from, are you looking to other people to tell you who you are? So kind of like what I just said, if you're looking outside of yourself to discover what's inside of yourself, you're going to be looking for quite some time because you got to look inside of yourself to find those things. So start to kind of think about where, if this is a path you're on where you're trying to, find your passion or determine what you want to do with your life and the 9 to 5 ain't cutting it, or you've been going through the motions for X amount of years or whatever it may be for you, where are you looking to find yourself? Where is your focus? And what I mean by that is, where are you looking? Are you actively looking to your partner, to your friends to see what they're doing to then determine what you're doing? Are you looking to your parents and your siblings to determine if you're meeting their expectations? Or, let me throw the or in there, I have to, are you looking inward for the answer? Probably 8 out of 10 people listening to this are the first couple, because that is what we've been taught, right? Like, what does my parent want me to do? If that also has different implications based on your cultural background, where you were born, where you grew up, who your parents are, how they were raised, what part of the country you were raised in, if you were even raised in this country, right? There are so many factors that play into who our role models are, who we look to, who we look up to, and who we let define us. So think about that. Take a moment today as you're getting ready, or as you're driving to work, or maybe you're already at work and you're having your coffee. We all love to take a little moment before we dive into the work. So if you're doing that, take a moment, maybe write it down. Who have you been looking to define and tell you who you are? And my advice for you moving forward is, start looking in the mirror and start asking yourself, well, who do I want to be, rather than who am I searching for? Because I think when we tie a label or a title or a certain amount of money that we are supposed to have by a certain date or a certain age or a certain whatever, you start to forget that the person that determines your future and your life and your outcomes is you. So take a moment to reflect on that today. We're going to shift now into where all of this comes from, right? So where do you find yourself? How do you find yourself? If we're looking inside, what does that even mean? What it essentially means is, while you are assessing where you're looking, you're also assessing where your time is going. So how you're spending your time, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever your routine is, right? Whatever your habits are, whatever those reflect. And then where your focus goes. Because those two things together, your time and your focus, that gives you what you get in life. So if you wake up in the morning and you dread work and you focus on that dread, you're going to notice that you feel dread constantly, because that's where your focus is. And you're spending active time throughout your day focusing on the things that you're dreading. Of course, you're going to have a crappy day. That makes sense. You're laying the groundwork for that. So think about it from a different perspective. What if, I love to pose the what ifs. What if I started focusing my time on things that helped me learn, or things that help me expand the things I don't feel like I'm good at, or things to help me further the things I'm already good at so that I can open a business of my own? Or maybe I want to pick up dancing on the side. Whatever it is that you want to do, you have to start spending your time doing those things, because if you don't spend your time there, you can't develop there. It seems really straightforward and it is simple, but it's not as easy as it sounds because of the mental blocks that we have all put in place for ourselves in whatever areas of life you've put them. We all like to throw them in random areas. Other people might look at them and be like, that is a weird thing to think is difficult. That's just how life is. We all have our different obstacles, right? And then also, what are you thinking about most of the time? Where are you spending your time, right? We talked about that. Spend your time on doing things that lead to the outcome that you want. You also have to focus there as well. So if you want to if you want to open your own bakery one day, are you actively thinking and daydreaming about opening that bakery? Or are you focusing on the life you live now and that you can't have that bakery yet? Things to think about. Maybe you want to not open a brick and mortar and you want to open an online business, and you have like a design idea for a shirt that you know in your heart's going to be wonderful. Do you focus on how you can get that started and how you can refine it and how you can start growing a presence to once release it? Or are you focusing on the 9 to 5 that's sucking the life out of you? Where your focus goes, that's where your energy goes. And where your energy goes and your time and your focus, all that together, that's where your life is. So if the thing that you want is in the other direction, you have to make sure that your focus, your energy, and your time is going towards that thing. So start to think about that today too. I am not, at least at this stage of my life coaching career, I am not in a place to encourage people to leave their jobs or to encourage them to do something else with their lives. But I will encourage you to seek perspective, to open up your brain on who you can be, and to maybe approach all of those things that you currently do with a different perspective so that you feel more energized by it, more excited about it. One of the things I like to say is I really love to help people sift through the things in their lives that aren't working and then capture the things that are and amplify those as much as we can, whether it's skill, things that you enjoy, whatever it is, right? Making sure that we are putting the effort in to make that happen more. So that's my challenge. One of my challenges for you today. You know, I like to give you more than one. And then last focus today is actually talking about what actions you can take daily to discover who you are. I've already talked about a couple, but one thing and one major thing I will encourage you to do, regardless of what stage in life you're at, is to try new things. The reason I say this is a lot of us build different activities and things up in our heads as things that we can't do, things that are scary, things that we'll never try, things that we will never count ourselves in on. And in doing that, we're not giving ourselves an opportunity to, one, even try, and two, to see how we will actually feel in the actual experience. You can't anticipate it being terrible if you don't know what to expect. I will give you a great example, and it's my own because I am who I am. As I've spoken on here before, and if you've listened, I am a spin instructor, so I teach indoor cycling classes multiple times a week. Even if I take like 2 weeks off, I can hop back on a bike and I couldn't tell you the difference. My body, I might breathe a little heavier, but my body knows what to do. Rewind 7 years ago, that was not the case. And rewind even further before that, I played soccer, I played volleyball, I played water polo. I was an active gal, but I did not work out really outside of those sports. And my soccer coach, if he ever listens to this, rude, he probably will too. I used to cry. I would cry and I would hyperventilate on the runs that he would make us go on because I was so physically uncomfortable and I didn't have the mental like understanding and capacity and drive to understand that if I just pushed a little harder, it actually might be fine. Look at my nails. I know it's bad. So things to think about is, where are you setting your limits before you actually try? Because now, like I said, I teach spin classes. I can do cardio for an hour and a half and not really feel any difference. I can run if I am forced. I don't love it, but I'll still do it because I know my lungs can do it and I know my body's strong enough. And so it's just the things that we decide before we even get a chance are comical to me now because I can see the very clear difference. And once you see it in one area of life, you start to notice it in other places and you go, oh, got it. Yeah, okay, that's on me. That's on me. So things to realize there is, are you allowing yourself to be uncomfortable and to try new things so that you can discover what you like? That is the biggest thing I could tell you. If I never started teaching spin, I would probably not be a life coach, or at least not a life coach yet, because being a spin instructor, I am able to see what people are struggling with, hear what people are struggling with, and communicate to them in a workout class how they can feel better about those things. And in doing that, I realized, oh, I could probably do that off the bike and do it more efficiently and more directly and more one-on-one. So think about things in that sense. Like, instead of being scared of opportunities, or if somebody invites you to try something new, instead of being worried about it, approach it from, oh, I wonder what I'll learn about myself, or, oh, I wonder what I'll find out. Maybe I'll like this. And if you don't, that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with being like, oh, yeah, that wasn't for me, but that was an experience. So thank you for inviting me. Like, these things are totally fine. I think a lot of us steer away from things that we don't know because we don't like being uncomfortable, when being uncomfortable is the exact place we need to be in order to find find things that we do enjoy for ourselves. So take that into your day today. If someone invites you somewhere or wants you to come to a workout class, or you see a posting for an event, or you see a yoga class that's for free, go to it. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but at least you know. And 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to like it. Lastly, before we wrap up today, because I kind of just touched on it, is oftentimes the things that we steer away from the most are the things that we need to do the most. So if you're scared to do something, do it. It means you're supposed to do it. I will deep dive into fear and what that does to us and into our brains in another episode, maybe the next one, just because talking about it now. But carry that to your day today. Regardless of the day of the week that you listen to this, I know that you can use some of this, even if it's just shifting your perspective a little bit. And if you don't feel like it's beneficial to you, send it to somebody you know, because guaranteed, you know somebody in your life who could focus a little bit more inward to be able to bring out the best version of themselves. And I think that's, at the end of the day, something that, whether we're ready to admit it or not, that we all really want for ourselves and the people that we love. So with that, have a wonderful day. Be someone's light today. Share this with someone you love. Be kind. Drink your water. And I will see you back here very soon.